felony rather than a misdemeanor?
No, I think the fact that they charged so many counts is all the more reason this looks so odd to everybody, that all 16 counts were dismissed 2.5 weeks after he was arraigned on these 16 counts. So there's obviously very different ways they could have tried to dissolve of this case, and their initial offer to us involved a dismissal. This wasn't something that was negotiated. We were never going to enter a plea. He's maintained his innocence. Obviously, he continues to maintain his innocence, and so a plea was off the table. And so for them 2.5 weeks later to completely dismiss the case, I think that speaks volumes.
Jeff Toobin, I know you have some questions.
Ms. Glandian, does your client plan to apologize to the actual victims of hate crimes who will now be disbelieved because of your client's ridiculous stunt here?
Well, I completely disagree with your categorization that this was a ridiculous stunt. Again, he has not been convicted of any crimes. It's unbelievable to me the amount of conviction in his guilt when prior to him ever stepping foot inside the courthouse. And now that 16 counts were dismissed against him by the state attorney's office in such a high-profile matter, the fact that people still call this a ridiculous stunt is actually very offensive to me. And so the only person who should be apologizing is the mayor and the city of Chicago. That's who should apologize to the victims of hate crimes, who will now hesitate to come forward because they don't want to be charged with 16 counts themselves.
What was his relationship with the two people who allegedly beat him up?
He was friendly with one of them. He had met Abe Abimbola Asandario about 1.5 years ago. They were friends and friendly, and they trained together. They socialized. He knew the older brother strictly. He had met him only a few times and did not even have his contact information, had never communicated with him, which also should make you wonder that if he was going to pull such a ridiculous stunt, would he actually entrust pretty much a stranger to do that, to potentially ruin his life and come out with this?
Ms. Glenda, let me just ask you, so he knew this guy for 1.5 years. They'd trained together, they'd socialized together. If this guy is punching him in the face and saying things to him, how is it possible he could not recognize this guy?
The attackers, I should say, were wearing ski masks.
Did they have gloves on?
I'm sorry?
Did they have gloves on?
Yes, but more importantly, his face was covered with a ski mask. He only saw one of the attackers.
Okay. But they were wearing gloves, so he didn't even know he was of Nigerian descent, that he was not white?
He did not.
How I just don't understand.
So why
did
he identify the person
as white? He identified the person as white, but if you know, if you've known somebody for 1.5 years,
if you were
if my trainer beat me up or punched me in a dark street, I would know it's my trainer.
No, I think if it's 2 a.m. and you get jumped from behind and the first point of contact is a punch to your face, and it's all of a 30 to 45 second tussle, and they're wearing a ski mask, and there's the commotion that goes on in a fight. Right. I don't think through a ski mask you're going to identify anybody in the excitement of the moment.
All right, we're out of time, unfortunately.
Well, I have to ask, if I can just ask one